Your week been? Today's show promises to be very, very educative and informative. I personally have a lot of questions for our guests. So let's go right into it. Our guest's name is Wendy Ologe. She's a coach and she's a trainer at the International Intentional Parents. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna get started right away. Thank you for joining. Okay, let me add you up on Instagram. So we're going to be talking about intentional parenting. For me personally, that is I don't know what that is about. Honestly, I really want to know. I want to learn because this day and this our generation, taking care of kids is different from when we were growing up. That's for sure. And I've had a few challenges. Bringing up my baby. So let's get started. Thank you, Wendy, for joining us on this investor today. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Esse.
Okay, so what is intentional parenting all about?
Okay, before we start, Esse, you will need to either tune down your volume on the other device so that it doesn't echo because I can hear your echo from here.
Okay.
Awesome. So if you
Is
just
it better?
turn down the volume,
Still here.
then it helps it not to interfere,
Okay, is it better now?
I guess. All right. So let's get going. I like to usually do some sort of introduction before I talk. My name is Wendy Ologe. Wendy Ologe is a parent coach, an author. I write parenting books. That's what I
Okay.
do, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. I've been privileged to run a community of about 30,000 parents in the past 2 years, and we've grown to 30,000 plus as at today on Facebook. And just last year, Facebook recognized our group as the most relevant parenting group in Africa. And
Wow, that's good.
that brought me to the point where I represented Africa at a global parenting summit last year in the US. So over the years, we've done parenting, to this point. And one of the things that is key that we really look at is parenting as it is in the 21st century.
Okay.
In my work with parents, I've come to a point where it's very important for us to actually recognize that parenting is about the parents and not just the the child. They say
Yeah.
the volume in your background is very distractive.
I
It's
have put it.
actually
I've
very
turned off the volume on one of my devices, so I don't know where that noise is coming from.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot more better now. That's a lot more better now.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So basically, what I say about intentional parenting is that parenting is learned and never assumed. Unfortunately, what we do many of the times is that we are assuming parenting. Assumption parenting is a killer. Whatever it is you don't learn how to do, you won't be able to actually do it. So you
Mm.
need to understand that intentional parenting, it's a journey. All right. When we talk about intentional parenting, what we're saying simply is that you need to be conscious. What we're saying is that you need to think. What we're saying is that you can't do this just by saying, oh, I woke up and I know how to raise the next person. Unfortunately for us, while we say that, this was how our parents did it, you know, we've gotten to a point where it's also important to note that what our parents did served them for that generation. The truth
Okay.
remains that what is happening in this generation is different. We're faced
Okay.
with a different kind of parenting in totality. We're raising Gen Zs and Generation Alphas, and their world is different from our world. So simply, to put it in the simple terms, intentional parenting is about being a thinking parent. Simply put.
Okay. Okay. So, why did you become a parenting coach? How many kids do you have? Let's start from there.
That's interesting. Okay, so I have been married for 11 years. I have 3 children,
Wow.
one
Okay.
foster daughter, and a set of twins.
Wow. I
Our
love
set of
to.
twins is 10 years. They turned 10 in April. Our
Okay.
foster daughter is 27. She just got married. We've parented her for 11 years now. So,
Wow.
yes, I have children.
Okay. So, why did you get into coaching?
Okay, so when I had the opportunity to parent a teenager, that was 11 years ago, I thought I knew what to do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, by the time I started to parent our daughter, or we started to parent our daughter, my husband and I, we realized that there was so much that we were doing that we didn't know how to. And of course, I just knew that there was something different. So we kept forcing, we kept using all the methods that we assumed we knew. And in the process, oh, I failed woefully. Oh, we failed. We failed woefully at it. Woefully at it. And at some point, I started my journey and I started to say, there must be something different that I don't know. And it means that there's something that I need to learn that I haven't learned. I started the journey to learn, parenting. I found myself doing courses. I did so much, to help myself. And I tell you, it worked like magic. It became a turnaround situation. And people see our foster daughter today and they say, oh, wow, your daughter, she's this, oh, she's like that. I just smile. One of the things that happened is that we took responsibility for actually being a parent. And along the line, after several years, I found myself, seeing a lot of parents go through same struggle that I myself had to go through. And this struggle was real. They were real. I see them go through it. And my journey as a parent coach actually started to be able to help these parents who also found themselves in situations that I found myself. When you get married, nobody tells you what it looks like until you get in there. And when
Yeah.
you get in there, you start experiencing overwhelm. You start experiencing, all kinds of struggles. And for me, I felt that parenting shouldn't be, full of struggles. I felt that there should be more to it. And, here I am today doing parenting, teaching people how to actually do parenting without those struggles. So yes, that's why I started parenting.
Okay. Before I go to my next question, our viewers, can you send in your questions? If you have any questions for our guest, please send them in, whether you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, so that she can attend to your questions as well. And then if you're on Facebook, please, you can also share our video to invite your other friends to be a part of the discussion while it's ongoing. So, does a person's upbringing impact their parenting styles?
Oh, definitely. Oh, most definitely. So let me tell you what also happened to me when I started to parent. So when I started to parent, I saw myself parenting the same way my father had parented us. Now, my two parents use different parenting styles. Incidentally, the brain will process the negative. Permit me, I have a medical background. So many of the times I try to use science to explain what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay.
The brain will normally, process, a lot of these things, the negative things faster than they will process the positive. All right. So many of the times you find out that these things that happen, it's actually happening because the parenting characteristics are reflect. So I say that parenting characteristics they reflect. So even when you don't want to do the things that you're doing, you find yourself doing them. For instance, I hated yelling. I hated to be yelled at. When I started my journey as a parent, I saw myself yelling,
Yeah.
yelling,
True.
just
I
the
was
way I
going to
saw
ask you
myself,
that. Yeah.
not because I liked it, not because it worked, but because that's what I knew. And to
Okay.
tell you the truth, it was not a strategy that worked. It didn't work, never worked, and will never work. So, yes, parenting styles that have been used for you actually reflect who you become. In the academy, in the Intentional Parents Academy, we actually have a course that we call Healing from Parenting Hurt. Because I found out that even when you felt hurt from your parents, the way you were parented, we
Yeah.
bring it into the place that we, raise these children. Incidentally, we don't think about it. We unconsciously unleash some of these things, into our processes, and then we live like our parents. And
True.
at some point, you actually begin to see yourself live like your parents, just because parenting characteristics are reflective.
Hmm. This is so true. Everything you're saying, because I was going to ask you, yeah, how you grew up, the impact it has on you. What about the things that you didn't like your parents doing when you were growing up, and then you actually make a conscious effort because I know that my husband and I talked about how we're going to, parent our children before the baby came, but at some point you realize, oh, okay, we're doing what we said we're not going to do. And it was
Mm,
because that's what we're used to. That's because that's the way we also were parented. And it doesn't really matter. We don't remember that, oh, I said I wasn't going to do this because I didn't like it when, it was being done to me. But then you're doing it
mm,
now.
mm.
Well, sad. So we have to be intentional. So you have to keep learning. You have to keep practicing. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, what I'm saying is, in fact, the truth is, if you do not, if you do not undo the script that you have about
Hmm.
your parents, you will play the same scripts in your own journey. So
Okay.
the scripts that have been played in your head, that you've seen. Now, let me explain this using a bit of science. The subconscious is built from 0 to 10. So what that means is that your children, get their subconscious, or you as a child, you get, into your subconscious. Everything about your subconscious is built from 0 to 10. Some science says 0 to 7, some science says 0 to 8, but let's just use a wide range and say 0 to 10. But let me say this. Now, science also says that the human being, you as an adult, everything you do comes from your subconscious, at least 92%. That's huge.
92%.
So
Yeah.
everything that you're doing now as an adult is from the preconceptions that you had as a child.
Mm.
So your scripting of your life, is part of what it is that you had as a child. Now let me give you a very vivid example. I was having a class, with some parents, and I was sharing how deep your parenting work can get. Growing up, I had a counseling session with a parent, a man, a father, and he said to me, I actually don't think women can make money. That is coming from somewhere. Yes. So now his idea, when we started to dig deeper, it happened that for every time when he was growing up, when he asked his mother for money, the mother continually said, I don't have, go to your father.
Mm.
So the script in his head is that women do
Can't
not
make money.
have money. So that's the script in his head. So there's nothing, and that has sabotaged even his marriage. So many of the times we are doing things and we're not even recognizing that how we were raised sabotages our journey. Now I share another vivid example. There was an interview of Jay-Z and the husband of Beyonce,
Yeah.
and he said something in that interview. He said, I found myself thinking on someone I really love. I didn't even understand that was why, I didn't understand why I was, it didn't
Okay.
make sense to me. He went to therapy. At therapy, they found out that because his father had left him when he was 8, then he felt that if I love someone so deeply and trust them, they're going to leave me. So that reflected in his work, even as a married man who was trying to build with him. It took him therapy to actually get him, and then support of his wife to actually get him to where he is and where he's now saying, okay, what can I do more? So his father, the absence of his father alone, built a script about trust and love in his head. So I'm just sharing these examples for us to understand how much we're scripting the heads of our children where we're living the life that we're living. And until you go back to the script, for you to deal with your present, you need to go past. Until you go back to that past, you look at what it is. It's not look at what we did that have been wrong in that place. Then you begin on script and begin to rewrite the script. The good thing is that neuron in the brain can actually be built back. You can build back neurons in their millions and billions in your head if you take to learn. So learning actually helps you to be able to do that, to be able to build neurons and be able to learn.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in, honestly. So, are there specific techniques to intentional parenting?
Specific techniques. The question is a little bit too broad, but one thing I know is that for you to be an intentional parent, you need to be a thinking parent. What intentional parent says is that what are you thinking per time? If your child does something, for instance, your child had just misbehaved, and the first thing, that you want to do when your child misbehaves is just lash on the child. Now, intentional parenting teaches what will be the results of whatever it is that I'm doing at this time. So we look at the goal, we look at the results, we look at the end product. Now, the aim of intentional parenting is to teach you that parenting is a journey and not an end. So if you're thinking of the journey, so you need to think beyond the now. You need to think of the future. You need to think of the things that I'm doing now. How do they impact in my child so many years, after now? So it's important for us to actually look at that. I think someone is asking a question.
Yes, I was going to get to that once you finish.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So Hebrews 1:22 is asking what works apart from yelling?
What works apart from yelling?
Yelling, yeah.
The discipline that works. So one of my books is titled The Discipline That Works. There's a discipline that works. And when we talk about the discipline that works, we're looking at different aspects of the child. There are lots of tools that I shared in that book of what can work. You don't need to yell. You don't need to hit. So when I say this, a lot of people, draw back and say, how can you do that? How possible is it? It's very possible. It's very possible if you understand that you need to work on your emotions. If you understand that authority is trust and respect. Authority is not force and trying to just use a lot of force and then bully the child. That's not authority. Authority is trust and respect. Trust and respect. If your child can trust you, it means that you can influence your child. So how do you build trust? That should be the question. Is it by yelling and by hitting the child? No. You need to build trust by making the child actually understand the process. So in that book, I shared 10 tools that can help you move from that, the tools that that we are used to actually the things that you can do. However, there's a process of actually weaning yourself off yelling. Because yelling is an addiction. Let me tell you what happens. I have another book called From Yelling to Calm. And in that book, I shared on how you can get addicted to yelling. What happens when you yell is that your dopamine is actually triggered. And when it's triggered, what happens is that you get excited without even knowing it. Without even, just like any other addiction. Just like any other addiction. When you get addicted to yelling, you feel good yelling. So when you yell, even when you don't have results, you see yourself in constant yelling. So you can wean yourself of yelling and begin to look at tools that work. One of those tools that I can share, in this case, this period of time, is can also be verbal correction, can be rules and consequences, can be, there are too many. But let me share something about verbal correction. A lot of the times, people have come to me and say, but I've been using verbal correction. The problem is that we do not use verbal correction well. We don't know what it takes to correct someone verbally. Under the tool verbal correction, there are 10 things you must know to be able to correct your child verbally. 10 things you must know to be able to correct your child verbally. The moment you're not doing it right, your verbal correction will come. And I've seen a lot of parents who have come to say, after all, they did it to me and it turned out okay. Well, okay is a relative term. I do not want to go into that because I know that okay is a very relative term. What is okay for you might not be necessarily okay. So okay for me doesn't mean that I have a good job and I go to school, I pass, I come out with the best result in my class. That makes me okay. That's not okay. Okay goes beyond all that. Okay, so what we aim to do basically is to begin to teach parents to win. Unfortunately, this class, this 1 hour can't even permit me to begin to share, a lot of the things, that I have written, in both books to be able to help parents to walk their journey. But one of the things that I can say also is that if you are able to build connection, my very first book is called Connect. If you're able to build connection with your children, you will find out that you will not need to yell and use this fear-based control parents. I have 10-year-olds, and like I said earlier, we have a foster daughter that is 27. Yelling and beating is not part of our process. Yet, I am the one who does all the training for parents in my children's school. So if my children are not well behaved, what you call well behaved, in quotes, I'm not going to be the go-to person to be able to do that. So my point is, you can do it. You can actually do parent without having to yell, without having to the children, and still have children who are well behaved. You understand the process is a bingo for you. Straight up bingo. Recently, I shared a picture. My daughter bakes. She's 10. She bakes also. All right. So I shared a picture of one of the things that she was making. She was making, that was yesterday, twisted Korean donuts. I shared it on my Facebook platform. And, a lot of people reached out to me and they were like, so how did you teach your daughter how to cook so early? How did you teach your daughter to do that? When you become intentional, you are thinking through your future. You're not thinking. So the children begin to learn through all those processes without you have been to. I can't remember the last time I went to a kitchen. I can't remember. This is me. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. At least in this lockdown, I haven't been cooking nothing. Right? Right? Our 10-year-old cooking. Our foster daughter just got married. Mostly not even around. Our daughter actually does a lot of cooking. With our son, does cook as well. If you're able to work and you're patient enough through the process, believe you me, you will have results. Amazing results actually speak.
Even with the very little ones, the toddlers of between the ages 2 to 4, because those ones are a bit more difficult. If you would, well, from my own experience, because they are just learning to speak and communicate properly, you know, you so it's a bit more difficult because it can sometimes it's frustrating when you're trying to say something they're not understanding you, or they're trying to say something to you and you're not getting it, you're not understanding. So the child is frustrated, you're frustrated, and you have other things to attend to. How do you handle that?
Let me correct an impression.
Okay.
Toddlers actually hear you.
Mm.
Children do hear you. It's not true that your toddlers don't hear you. That's not true. That's a misconception. And we need to begin to correct that. A lot of the times I've seen parents begin to talk to their toddlers with baby voice, begin to say, oh, talk and believe that the toddlers will actually listen more baby voice. No. We say speak to your child the words that you want them to hear. Words are powerful. It's actually even been from research that when you speak words even to a child in the womb, begin to internalize it. You don't know how much words can do to a who is 2, who is 3, who is 4, and you begin to you begin to wonder your thoughts hear you, they understand you. The problem is that we keep thinking that our toddlers do not hear us. That is not true. Our toddlers can hear us, they can understand us, to understand per time that you are speaking to a human being, not just just someone that does not understand words. And when you continually speak to them, you will see a difference, a huge difference. So when people talk about toddlers, I smile. I had a set of twins as toddlers, and when people talk about tantrums, I said there are things you can do to actually help your child with tantrums. There's a lot. If you're able to feel your child's emotions stand huge enough to a point where the child is actually, the emotional bank is so filled up, you will see that tantrums will be reduced to the barest minimum. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, when you go to the shops, my child is throwing tantrum, is falling on the floor. You need to understand that you need to create boundaries. You need to understand that you need to look at tantrums and begin to solve them for what the problems are. Sometimes tantrums are not just, they're not on the surface. There's a base. There's what is causing the tantrum. And that's what we're saying. For every tantrum that a child throws, there's a reason for that tantrum. So we need to begin to look beyond the misbehaviors and look at the causes of the misbehavior. I like to use the iceberg approach in looking at misbehaviors, where you're not just looking at, because the iceberg theory says that what you're seeing really is like what it is 70%, and what you can see is 30%, what you can see is 70%. So it means that what you cannot see affects even more what you can see. A lot of parents come to me and say, oh, my child has this issue, there's this misbehavior. When you walk through with them, you find out that the misbehavior is triggered by something. What is triggering that misbehavior? So instead of tampering on the misbehavior of your child, why not find out exactly what it is that is triggering this misbehavior so that it can be sorted out? Let me give you a very vivid example. We had an 8-year-old who got into drugs. The parents didn't know he got into drugs.
So
Now, you know,
8-year-old.
yes, 8-year-old. Oh, yes, the world has gone crazy. 8-year-olds, we have a lot of those crazy scenarios. Went into drugs. Unfortunately, the parents didn't even know that this boy was doing some kind of drugs. He's been introduced from school, he hides it, and then misbehaves. A lot of the times, he will take money out of the house, and they were more interested in how he was not obedient than he was stealing. When I started working with them, part of what we did was I told them that beyond what is happening, there's a lot more underneath this whole thing. We need to find out. And when we find out, we felt very sick because they were chasing shadows. Wow.
Wow.
They were jumping up and down, figuring it out, and what is happening behind? So that's the huge challenge with us not being able to think through our process as parents.
Okay, I'm going to take you back to toddlers a little bit. For toddlers, yeah, it's not all the time that I like to think that they are misbehaving when they are throwing tantrums or doing something that you necessarily don't want them to do. Okay, it's not every time that is that's like misbehaving, or I don't see it that way. I stand to be corrected, but when you're doing something repeatedly and you want them to stop, you've said it like 100 times and they're still doing the same thing. How do you correct them without yelling? Because I'm saying this because as a human being, I've said to you, don't do that. Please stop doing that. You're gonna hurt yourself, baby. Don't do that. And I've said it repeatedly and repeatedly, and then the child just keeps doing it. How do I correct that child without yelling? Because if I've said it a couple of times, I'm getting worked up now. Yeah. So how do I still correct that child and make them stop that thing without, you know, yelling? I'll give an example. For example, my little girl, she does everything that she or she tries to. She's at that age when she imitates everything. What you're doing, what you see on the TV, so some of their cartoons or nursery rhymes there, I don't really like them. Like the ones that say three little birds on the bed. You get what I'm saying? Teach child how to count, right? But what they're doing, jumping on the bed, the child also wants to do it. The child is actually doing it. And I want her to stop doing it. How do I stop her from doing it without yelling? Because she's going to fall, she's going to stand up, and after 5 minutes, she's going to go back to it.
Oh, okay. I recognize that a lot of parents actually struggle, with a lot of like with parenting at this level. But one thing that we must note is that you need to look at tantrums as opportunities, as teachable moments.
Okay.
Teachable moments. There's something that we call teachable moments in the academy. You need to begin to look at them as teachable moments. Now, you gave a scenario, and I smiled when you were saying it. You said something. There's a video that my child watches, and they tell them to jump, and I see my child jumping. It's interesting. You don't like it, and you're still letting your child watch it. So, are you going to blame the child for jumping? No. What is happening is that the child is simply assimilating what is in their environment and they are able to replicate it. Now, let me also say this, that the best disciplinary method for a lot of toddlers is for you to use distractions, and then for you to use distractions and use a lot of positive reinforcement. Because for toddlers, we're expecting too much from toddlers. You're saying you're talking to a toddler, you're expecting too much. If your expectations are too high for your toddler will fail. Right? So temper tantrums can range from whining to crying to screaming to kicking to hitting and all that. All right? They are common in all children of that age, usually between the 1 to 10. Some children actually have a lot of tantrums often. They are normal part of a child's development. That's how your child is showing that they are upset and they are frustrated. What causes your child to throw tantrums is because your child's emotions have not been fully developed. So if you take to learning how to, the problem is that a lot of us don't even know how to deal with our own emotions. So it becomes even more difficult to be able to teach your children how to deal with their emotions. A few days ago, let me give a very vivid example. I do emotions coaching in the academy for parents, and we do a lot of that in my home as well. A few days ago, my son got upset about something. He just walked out, went into the room, went into the sitting room. We're outside, we were waiting for him. We're supposed to go for a walk, and after a while, he comes back in, and he comes out again, and we say, "Okay, so where have you been?" He said, "Well, I just needed to walk away for a while because I was upset." Nobody shouted. My son is 10. Nobody needed to shout. Nobody needed to yell. Nobody needed to jump up and down. If I feel that what he did was wrong, I would take my time eventually to go and teach
Hello.
him
Hi, sorry,
how,
my auntie just joined. She's saying hello. Hello, Godreyo. Thank you for joining
all
us.
right, and how it is that they need to do this. Tantrums happen when children are tired, hungry, uncomfortable. They have a meltdown because they can't get something to do when they want to. So learning to deal with this frustration is a skill that children gain over time. Only if and how fast they gain it depends on you, the parent. If you can teach your child how to be able to develop this skill, it all depends on you. So they are common, but when the language skill is starting to develop, because you know that toddlers can't say what they want in full, so or what they feel. Sometimes they can't even say what they need. So it's a frustrating experience.
Yeah.
So they get really frustrated. So as the language skill develops, tantrums begins to decrease. So what do? You need to develop your child's language skill and develop their emotion skill.
Mm.
Unfortunately, for parents, you cannot give what you don't have. You can't teach a child emotions coaching if you yourself do not have your emotions in check. A toddler does something, you're shouting everywhere, and you expect a toddler not to throw tantrum when they're frustrated. Come on, how does that work? You have only taught your toddler that when things go wrong,
Wrong.
that you
You need
need
to
to
react.
react in a frustrating way.
Yes.
So the child is going to learn automatically that, well, when things go wrong, I react in a frustrating way because that's what I see in my environment. Children pick their first emotions in their environment. Remember, toddlers are looking for independence. They're looking for control over their environment more than they can actually handle. So it leads to power struggle as the child thinks, well, I can do it myself. I want, give it to me. When the child now discover that they can't do it or that they can't have everything they want, they begin to throw tantrums. So you need to, begin to think of how can I avoid tantrums. You need to
Absolutely.
learn to prevent tantrums from happening in the first place whenever possible. These are some ideas that I can give, that we share, a part of it in the academy. Give plenty of positive attention. Get in the habit of catching your child being good. So when you see what they are doing, pay attention to it and begin to reinforce the good part. All right, positive reinforcement is key. Then try to give your toddlers some control over little things. Control over little things. Now it's called monitored. It's called monitored independence. All right, you offer them minor choices. Like, do you want to change orange juice with apple juice? Do you want to brush your teeth and then take your bath? They feel like they're in control. You give them minor choices. You're not really asking, do you want to brush your teeth now? You are just saying, and you're not also saying no. When you keep saying no, that's another that's another topic for another day.
I
There's
know.
something you also built in your child's head with all the no, 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 no. It blocks your child mind and it has a thing to do with blocking a child's creativity. Number three thing that you need to do is keep off limit objects out of sight and out of reach. Let me say this. I have gone to a lot of parents' house. You need to understand where your parenting journey is per time. Now, let me say that again. You need to understand where your parenting journey is per time. I have preteens. I can afford to have a glass table in my house. You have a toddler. You cannot. That's the word. Afford to have a glass table in your home. Yet, I see parents not having their homes but be proved to the point of their journey. There are things I can't bring into my home at this point because I know that I have preteens. There are things I never had. There's some decorations I never had in my home because at the time my children were toddlers. All right, you need to keep them off limit. It makes the table less likely, and it isn't always, especially outside of the home where the environment can be controlled. You need to learn to distract your child. Distraction is actually a tool in parenting toddlers. Take advantage of your child's short attention span. Remember that your child has a very short attention span. Offer them something else in place of what they can't have. So don't just say no, 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 no. Don't do it. Offer them something else in place of what they can't have. You can't play with this. Take this. Start a new activity
Compromise.
to replace the frustrating, and the forbidden one. So don't just leave, children, normally the human being abhors vacuum. You don't want vacuum. So naturally, you don't want to leave that vacuum and say, don't give me sit down. Toddlers don't sit down. So
Okay.
all those sit down in the floor. Okay, so bring up alternatives. That is how they learn the world. You can change the environment. You can change the environment by distracting the child. You get a lot of space. for your toddler to play. Another thing that you can do is that you can help them learn new skills, help them to do new things. Praise them, help them, feel proud of what they can do. Start with something simple. Then you now begin to move to challenge. You can just pick these toys from here to here. Because they are children that they are looking for independence. They are looking for independence. So you can offer them, in a circle that will make sense to be able to monitor. You need to also consider the request carefully when your child wants something. All right? Choose your battles. Choose your battles. When you're parenting toddlers and teenagers, two group of people, you need to learn to choose your battle. It's not every battle is what it is on in the battlefield. Choose your battle. Know your child needs. If your toddler is tired, it's not the best time that you want to drag your child to be everywhere. You want one errand. Know the limits of your child and keep to it. These are some of the things that I know that you can do with your toddler, and I hope this helps.
It helps a great deal. In fact, as we were talking, I was just certain scenarios were playing in my head, like, okay, yeah, this happens in my home right now with with my toddler. I remember that even today, my husband still said to my baby, "Can't you just sit in one place for 30 minutes without moving out?" Because when you're talking about toddlers don't want to sit down, they're everywhere, they always want to play, or they want to be active every single minute. She can be from the time she gets up, she's active till the time she goes to bed. There's no 5 minutes break. The only break is she's eating. Even when she's eating, she's busy doing something else. The only break is, or when she's really into a particular or nursery rhyme or something. So, yes, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. So let's go on. Your intentional parenting, does it give room for any kind of physical discipline? Because since we've been talking about yelling and all of that, we haven't talked about being physical because you know a lot of us had the physical kind of discipline growing up, not just yelling. Not just yelling. So does intentional parenting give
Okay,
room
you're
for
asking if
physical discipline?
okay, so when you say physical discipline is different from punishing a child. Well, I want to believe that when you mean by physical discipline is by hitting a child or flogging a child. Yeah? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
and
asking?
punishing as well. I want to add punishing to that because we haven't mentioned anything about punishment or um physical, physically hitting a child. Say, oh, stop that. Even if it's just a smack, I'm not saying beat up the child to the point where they are bleeding or they are wounded or anything. No, like just a smack, a pat on the hand or the bum or something like that. Bleeding or
Well, a lot of people will tell you that when you are parenting a child, at some point you need to really hit the child. You need to, let the child know that you really mean business. That is not what it's a difficult interesting and difficult thing that I like to play. That's not what parenting is. Now, is discipline part of intentional parenting? Yes, very huge, very high on it. In fact, I think that children who are parented intentionally are more disciplined than any group of children, because their parents are thinking through. Now, we're saying don't be a chronic yeller and don't become a hitter. We're not saying that you should not discipline your children. They are two different things.
Yeah.
I'm not a permissive parent in any way. Ask anybody who knows me personally. They know my children, they know how my home runs. We're not permissive in any way in our parenting. However, we don't use fear-based control parenting. We don't use forced parenting. No, we don't. We are able to get results and the ways that we have used to be able to set boundaries. You can set boundaries without creating fear in your child. You can set boundaries without yelling, beating. You can still set boundaries that work even more effectively. Let me tell you what beating does.
Okay.
Beating, takes away your ability to be able to actually walk your child through a journey.
Okay.
It takes away many of the teachable moments. And most importantly, it erodes connection. Now, I say that relationship trumps control in parenting. Relationship trumps control in parenting because relationship is what you are gunning for. Now, parent-child relationship is a relationship. No matter how difficult it is for you to be able to actually do it, it is a relationship. How do you build a relationship? Now, that's the question we need to begin to ask ourselves. What do I need to do? Now, it's a difficult kind of relationship because, because you are set as a parent, as a model, is one of the most difficult journeys that you will have in your life.
Mm.
And that's one of the reasons why I keep wondering why parents take it with, one, just is parenting now. I wonder why we think that we do not need to learn it to be able to do it. So there is work to be done for you to raise a child without having to hit your child. I don't have to hit you to correct you. It takes away the time that I'm actually supposed to put in the things I will think through. Let me give you an example of a scenario that happens when a child does something wrong. A child pours water on the floor and you're
Yeah.
using heat as a disciplinary strategy. What you do is that you come there, you yell, "Why did you pour this water? Can't you see? Bam, bam, bam." And that's it. You walk away. And then you go inside, bring a mop and mop yourself. What do you think you have taught the child? You've only been able to teach the child that another person can take consequences from my action.
Oh
I
wow.
only get yes. It looks small, but it's a lot of build up in the process.
Mm.
So until we begin to think about some of the things that we do, it doesn't work, it doesn't come into play. So we need to begin to think beyond what it is. The other day I was sharing in a community about teaching our son consent. So we've been teaching our children consent. The ability, we call it in my home, the ability to say no is a skill. The ability to say no and stick to it. The ability to respect people's opinion when they say no. What has gotten us to the point where we're shouting, say no to rape, say no to rape, is parenting. So one of those days, I was talking with my son and he wrote something in his diary. The children keep journals. And we keep journals, we do a lot of affirmations. And, he was writing something in his journal at the end of that day. And he was like, "Do you want to see what it is?" No, I was like, "What are you writing?" He said, "I'm not going to show you." We were just having a conversation. And he said, "I don't want you to see it, Mom." I said, "Okay, can we just continue other things that we were doing?" While we continued, he looked at my face. I said, "Are you upset that I didn't give you to see?" I said, "No. At the time where you're comfortable enough to show me, I'll be fine." He
Wow.
said, "Okay, let me tell you why I didn't want you to see. I actually want it to be some sort of surprise because I want there are things I'm putting together, and when I share with you at the end of the year, you'll be amazed at what you will see."
Wow.
I was able to respect. I was able to respect his, you know, that wish at that moment. It is called being able to teach your children consent and also stick to it. Now we're teaching our boys, we're saying it's because what causes rape, lack of consent. We're saying, okay, that you need to learn consent. I can be saying you need to learn consent and I'm doing something differently. When I do, it means that I am countering what it is that I'm teaching my child. A lot of the time, we counter the things we teach our children without knowing that that's what we are doing. We see ourselves doing things that are not the way we should, and then you see it backfiring. You see it backfiring in your process, and you're wondering what has happened. If you're not intentional, a lot of your process will be sabotaged, even
Mm.
without you, that you are the one actually sabotaging you. journey.
Wow. Well, we have a lot to learn. And when I put up this post earlier in the week, I had some of my friends like, "Oh, I need to be in this show because I have a lot of things I want to hear." And the truth of the matter is that even with everything that you're saying, you've answered so many questions that I had in my head. But but you realistically, a lot of us still need to unlearn and relearn. So if we're going to adopt intentional parenting, if we're going to learn, these things, we're going to face challenges. That's the honest truth. And for some people, at the point where you're facing a challenge, like, okay, some people are just going to give up and say, look, this thing is not working. Come here, go and kneel down there, or, take a smacking. Because frustration will set in at some point for some people because it's a new process. It's something you're just learning. It's the same thing as when you're in class, you're studying something and then you're reading and you're not getting it you get frustrated. Okay, and sometimes you're challenged. I've lost you on Instagram. Can you hear me? Okay, I think the video has frozen. Hello, can you hear me? Oh dear. Okay, we're just going to go on Instagram and see. Okay, so I lost our guest for now. Let's see if she's going to be able to connect back to one of the streams. Okay, so yeah, Tracy, I'm just seeing your question. I hope that she's going to come back. But anyway, the show is coming to an end. So all in all, what she said has been very informative. I've learned a lot. In fact, like I was giving myself a scorecard in my head as she was speaking, and I know the areas that I need to work on and the areas that I think that I'm doing okay. In fact, like I was giving myself a scorecard. Yes, so I in my head as we were speaking, and I know the areas that I need to work on and the areas that I think that I'm doing okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I'm back here, but I'm not back on the Instagram. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I can't hear you.
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, fine. Hello, so I lost you even on Instagram, but
loud and clear.
I was trying to ask my last question because time is almost running out, and I'm so sad because there's still so much. But someone asked, can parents with special needs children also do intentional? I was trying to ask my last question because time is almost running out, and I'm so sad because there's still so much. But someone asked quickly, can parents with special needs children also do intentional parenting?
Oh, yes, sure. Oh, sure, absolutely. You can.
Are you able to come back on Instagram?
Yes, you can.
It's not complain that they can't see you.
Oh, wow. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I can't even see you to add you back. That's the thing. Okay, so my last question is this: if you can connect back,
I can't see where to ask to join. Let me see.
Yeah, because I can't even.
If you can see, if you can see me, I've just joined back on Instagram. So if you can see me,
that's the thing. I haven't seen you yet.
If you can see me to add me back.
So my last question is this: if you can connect back on the last. I haven't seen you. Can you wave? If you're seeing me, can you wave, please? On Instagram, if you're seeing me on Instagram, can you wave so I can add you back? Because I can't see you. I haven't seen you. Can you wave? If you're seeing me, can you wave, please?
Yeah, I just did.
On Instagram, if you're seeing me on Instagram, can you wave so I can add you back? Because I can't see you.
Yes, I've done that.
I still can't see you. So I'm just going to ask the last question. And then, So I was asking about parents who are just starting the intentional parenting. We're coming from, a lot of us are coming from a background where, we already were used to yelling and all of that. So we're going to face a lot of challenges. What's your advice so that we don't give up? So I was asking about parents who are just starting the intentional parenting. We're coming from, a lot of us are coming from a background where, we already were used to yelling and all of that. So we're going to face a lot of challenges. What's your advice so that we don't give up and then, go back to the yelling and,
my advice is simple. It's a journey, it's not an end. If you can understand that, then you can understand that this is a journey. There's no magic wand anywhere. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So for those people, there are people who reach out to me then, from time to time to say, so what do I do? Can you tell me what to do now so that my children will just stop misbehaving and I'll stop yelling and beating them? There's nothing like that. It doesn't exist. You're going to be able to walk the journey. For instance, in the academy, we have gold classes, and some of these gold classes, we call them the VIP classes. We have them in levels, level 1, level 2. Depending on where you are at your journey, you start from level 1 and then you keep growing. Okay. We understand that this is about your journey. It has nothing to do with, oh, I just want to learn the skills now. There's no magic wand anywhere. There are no hacks. Parenting does not have hacks. It's something that you need to commit to be able to do. In fact, first of all, before a lot of people, work with me, the first thing I do is for you to actually get my books and then begin to read them. When you will get my book, for instance, when you get connected, right, it sets you on the journey to understand why you even want to work with me in the first place. And we have a wide range of courses. We have an online academy called intentionalparentsacademy.com, where you can see our range of courses, that we have in there. Some of them are locked. Some of the courses get launched from time to time. Presently, I think we have 5 courses that are open. So from time to time, we open up a lot of courses for parents actually taking. But basically, my advice to anybody watching or anybody listening is start your intentional parenting journey today. Okay. The costs for whatever it is that would happen to you eventually will be more than the cost that you're paying now. So what I say is that it's either you're paying now or you're paying later. Either way, you're going to pay. Okay. Either way, you're going to pay. So it's either you're paying to do what you need to do now, or you find yourself actually hassling to be able to actually do what you need to do. Thank you so much, Esse. Sorry, there's a lot of
I know. So quickly, I want to drop your handles. For those of you on Instagram, thank you for staying on. You can find her on Instagram at Wendy Ologe or at The Intentional Parents. Those are the 2 pages you can find her. On Facebook, how can they find you so that I can repeat it to them? How can they find you on Facebook?
Oh, I'm on Facebook as Wendy Ologe. I'm on Facebook as Wendy Ologe. We run a community called The Intentional Parent on Facebook. The Intentional Parent without the S. On Instagram, I think I can see your request now. On Instagram, we are on Instagram as The Intentional Parents with the S. We're on Twitter at Ologe Wendy, The Intentional Parent. We're on YouTube at The Intentional Parent, Wendy Ologe. So once you put Wendy Ologe or you put The Intentional Parent, like I said, we on our website, The Intentional Parent, the Intentional Parents Academy.com or Wendy Ologe. at the
Okay.
intentional
Yeah,
parent.
I'm gonna have to. I'll send all your details because I got just a few seconds left on Instagram to finish. So I'm going to send all your details. You can find all her details on my page later on. You can find her on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you so much, Wendy, for joining us on this session. And you can find Gist with Essay on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you all. Until next time, remember, stay positive, stay happy, stay mended. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ese.